everybody. Welcome back to the Cake Eaters Avalanche podcast. We said that our next podcast was going to be a post-game pod for the Avs first game. We kind of lied. We actually have a few more podcasts scheduled before then because we're just having so much fun doing this. Last time we gave you our standings predictions. This time we're going to go a little bit more in depth on the actual Avs, and we're going to give you our awards predictions to kind of pair along with those standings predictions, and then we're going to give you like what Avs we think are best suited for each award. Now, there's going to be some kind of like the Calder that like it's a long shot at best, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But in other news, the NHL season did officially begin this morning with a 4-1 win over the Sharks from the Nashville Predators. Kiefer Sherwood now on pace to score 164 points season. Is he going to win the Hart?
Absolutely. I am all aboard the Kiefer Sherwood train. No, but for real, that was such a boring game. For the first game of the season, like, pick the two slowest teams in the NHL. I'm kidding. But really, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was good to have hockey back, but I don't know. Not the greatest game.
Who even on the Predators is from? Who on the Predators is Czech?
Is Nino Niederreiter Czech?
No, he's Swiss.
I don't know.
That's why okay. They played they played like season games in Switzerland because Yossi and him are Swiss, and then I think isn't Timo Meyer Swiss? Is that it?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I think he's like something weird, like Austrian or something. I don't know. But yeah, in other news, the Mackenzie Weegar extension happened.
I know he is
kind of a surprise. I didn't think that was going to get done.
So I agree. I didn't think it was going to be done. I also thought I don't know, from the minute he got there, he didn't seem nearly as happy to be there as Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah.
And I figured he maybe it might have seen the writing on the wall that maybe giving Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau long-term deals for big money was not going to pan out well for the future of the team. But no, then he decided to long-term commit there too. I expected a bridge deal. No, but better for Calgary.
Yeah, I guess it's better. I don't know. They're going to be screwed in 3-4 years when those guys get old, especially Kadri, right? And then they're going to be kind of a mess at center. You also have to pay Lindholm in, I think, next year or the year after. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
at least with
good AV,
Yeah. The term that's definitely the better of the three contracts.
6 1/4 is
a large
really good.
Yeah. That's really good. For a guy of Mackenzie Weegar's caliber.
Right. I feel like he could have easily just put up like 55 points this year and then got like $8 million on the market. But I don't know. I guess he took the long-term stability over that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Good player.
Yeah, it's maybe he just really loves playing with Jonathan Huberdeau. Who knows?
I guess.
He's definitely going to be a nice change of pace for Calgary, which, like I said last time, I really felt like their biggest. I mean, ever since Giordano kind of started taking that decline, he was solid in his last few. Like he was good, but then last year they just didn't really have a number one defenseman. I didn't think so.
Right.
Whatever. And then another extension that was signed was Jason Robertson.
Yeah. So again, like he should probably fire his agent. Like, dude. I mean, Matt Barzal gets $9 million, and you're in the high sevens. Like, for 4 years, like he's still going to be an RFA when that thing expires. Like, I have no idea.
There's everybody like that act like knows anything when they saw that contract was like, why? Like it feel like for the amount for the holdout that made 0 sense.
I know,
I'm
sure that was
contract.
Yeah, I'm sure that was offered on like the first day he was eligible for a contract. Like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah,
He
they were
gave the
like,
Stars a big break,
they
though. They don't
probably
have to do
offered
anything
him.
about the cap.
That's true.
They don't have to do anything anymore.
I mean,
so
that's definitely a great deal for the Stars. I just don't like you said, I don't know what Robertson or his agent was thinking when they took that. Like,
yeah,
that's the
such a
4 years
great
would make
contract,
sense if he was a UFA at the end of it, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. Like,
I know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it makes absolutely no sense to me. He did the Stars such a huge favor, and I don't know what direction they're going to go in. I mean, I guess you try to build around him, Hintz, and Marchment now, and Heiskanen, but like that's not enough after these old guys retire and get bad. Yeah, like we'll see what they do. I don't know what Jim does.
I mean, really banking on Maverick Bork to become a stud.
He didn't look great either in the preseason games, but I don't know. Weird team, but I feel like they're going to be pretty decent this year. So
they're probably like, I predicted them to be pretty low. I kind of already immediately regretted that. But we'll see. Now that they have this deal done, it definitely bodes well for their, how they're going to perform this season.
It's good for them.
Yeah. Any other around the league news you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. Not really. It was good to watch an actual regular season game. I just feel like they could have done it a lot better. Apparently, it was way too hot in that building, and the ice was really bad. I also did not like the boards, the new boards with the technological ads. I heard a lot. It was really busy, and I can't describe it. They like flutter a little bit. Very distracting. Was not a fan. And then, yeah, again, just not the best hockey for the first game of the season.
Yeah. I watched like some of it. I got a chance to sleep in today, and I took that opportunity and I ran with it. So then I woke up and I was like, all right, hockey. Like, to me, it doesn't really feel like, because there's like preseason games going on as we speak. To me, the NHL season begins on like, was it Tuesday? It's like Tampa.
Yeah, I think the 11th. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then opening banner night on the 12th.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to that for sure. That's going to be emotional. We're both expected to cry. If we're not sponsored by a gambling site yet, but
real men don't cry, Eddie. You know that. Don't look at my Twitter.
Yeah,
I've never said anything about crying.
I'll just
on my
play
Twitter
tonight
at all.
And
oh my God! They
play the intro from Stanley Cup Final, and we'll see. We'll see.
They would do that.
Keep your tune there.
Yeah.
They did it. So they did it for the parade, and I wouldn't be surprised if they played the same video.
Oh, they're gonna. So, yeah. No, I'm fully prepared for it.
I hope they do, because I like recorded at the parade, and it's really crap quality. I love that video.
Yeah. Yep. I can't wait for it, man. Should we get into who will actually be watching on the ice in that game?
Yeah. Well, who's gonna actually be wearing an Avs sweater for that jersey? So we feel pretty confident in the top 6. Obviously, we saw it in the last game of the preseason. We expect the first line to be Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko. I almost did Steve Dangle. I just said Mikko Lehtinen, Arturi Lehkonen, and Mikko Rantanen. So we're pretty confident in that. Max always got that good chemistry with the Finns. Something about it, but at least, especially with Landeskog out, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that top line kind of continue if they keep keep their form and play like they did in the playoffs. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see Nuke take Lehkonen's spot at some point.
Definitely.
Maybe even Rantanen's spot. I mean,
That's kind of what I think ends up happening a little later. I don't know. McKinnon and Rantanen kind of just hemorrhage chances when they're on when they're on the ice. Like the D zone just doesn't go well for them, and that's
without
okay.
Gabe
Like
Landeskog, it's not ever great.
right, and I think Lehkonen will help obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised to see like McKinnon, Lehkonen, Nichushkin, and then Miko with Newhook and Erod. I don't know. They'll probably mix it up a little bit if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
But I feel like you kind of just got to get through the first month or two until Landeskog is back, and then you can really start rolling that top six. So
yeah, we'll see if there's a lot of possibilities they can go with when Landeskog gets back. I personally kind of like the idea of kind of just stuffing Miko with Erod and Newhook to kind of try and make that second line a little bit more competitive.
Get a little more skill down there.
Because obviously with Lehkonen and Nichushkin next to Nate, they kind of just go forecheck, give him the puck, and then he just finds him on the back door and hopes they don't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Makar on the ice too, so those two will just kind of be and pretty much.
I think the forward issues to start the season. Yeah, I think the forward lack of depth to begin the season isn't going to be like a huge deal, just because the defense is so good.
A lot of teams also have this problem too. Yeah. It's that's the nice thing about having a defense that's this good, especially offensively, is that you might not have the greatest second line in the world, but as long as as long as they're not bums, you're gonna be fine. And but so we think that's pretty straightforward. Like we said, we think Nichushkin, Erod, and Newhook will be the second line. Who's the 2C there? We're not entirely sure. Newhook was playing as the 2C in the last preseason game, so it looks like that's his job so far. Erod wasn't particularly impressive. He had his flashes, but Newhook definitely seemed to show better in preseason.
Alex Newhook looked really good. Erod looked like he can skate with the I feel like he'll be good. Might take him a little bit. He doesn't have a ton of finish. Like we can already kind of see. He had a lot of grade A chances in that last Dallas game. I can recall like 3 or 4 breakaways, backdoor tap-ins, stuff like walking down the slot, and he did not score. So he didn't come close either. Pretty easy saves for the Dallas goalies. So I don't know how that's going to go, but at least he can skate with the team, and he is good in the defensive zone as well. So I think he'll be fine until
it seems like
Scott gets back.
The skating is there. It's just he's kind of like, the basic stuff that'll help him just acclimate with the team. He's got the speed to stick with them. He just needs to get used to playing with these guys. With the short off season with them too. I'm sure that makes it a little bit harder. They were all skating for like at least a month together before he got signed.
Right.
I will say Newhook wasn't the greatest finisher himself in the preseason. And that was kind of something he struggled with this past year. He was a fine finisher, but with on a line with Nichushkin and Erod, the way Erod was finishing, he might need to kind of step that aspect of his game up a little bit. And then so the third line. No, now Comfer missed the last, was it 2 or just the last one preseason game?
I think he's been hurt for like about a week, give or take a couple days on either side of that.
He didn't play any. I'm pretty confident that he didn't play either preseason game against Dallas.
He didn't. No.
So, but he's expected to be back for opening night, so that doesn't seem to be a problem. And then Ben Myers had a really nice finish to the preseason after kind of struggling a little bit. So it's expected that he'll have a spot on the opening lineup, and most people think it'll be on the third line. And then you have Logan O'Connor to kind of step up and take the extra spot there. It's not the great. I think, I don't know, that it does kind of feel like this line doesn't really have one thing that unifies them, but at the same time, they're all kind of good at different things. So maybe they could get like a mini three-headed monster type thing on there, where Lehkonen just kind of, or O'Connor just kind of hounds pucks, forechecks. Myers just kind of stands in front of the net. Comfer will kind of have to act as a bit of an engine there, which is something we all know he is not the best at. So that's probably where I think the Avs are going to show most coming out the gates.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do on the third line. And I think the reason Myers looked so good in the last game of the preseason is because he was playing center, which is his natural position. In the other games, they were trying to like force him on the wing, and it just didn't really work. So I would actually put him at center, and I would put Comfer on the right, and then I would actually probably put Cogliano on the left, just to have some sort of stability on that line, like defensive prowess, puck retrieval, someone to kind of like calm Ben Myers down, because I think Comfer's just a pure passenger, and so like he's a quality NHL player, he's just not a play driver. So I think that line will hold its own defensively. Even if Myers struggles a little, I don't think that'll be too big of a deal with Comfer and Cogliano or LOC, whoever you put there. But I feel like they're going to have a hard time generating any offense.
Yeah, so the offense is definitely going to need to be supplemented in the back end on that line. I think the Cogliano choice is interesting because I don't know. I feel like considering his age, you just kind of want to give him as few minutes as possible. Honestly, if I were to move someone up there, it'd be Martin Kaut to help with the scoring opportunities, but I don't think that's going to happen to start the season.
I don't think they do that either.
I also think just like, because he's also a pretty responsible defensive player. Each of those guys is pretty responsible in their own right, and then you get a little bit of an extra scoring touch. And then you have what is still a pretty good fourth line with Cogliano and O'Connor and whoever you put in the middle of them. Right now, it looks like it's going to be on bleed, much to Blake's chagrin, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. We always see these AHL guys, they just kind of do nothing when they come up, which isn't what you want, but I'll take nothing over actively awful.
If Bleed doesn't actively hurt them, then it's fine. But he is really not very good. He's really not very good at all. There's no offense. Defensively and on the PK, he might be okay, but he's not a good skater. So it just worries me a little bit if he's in the opening night lineup. Obviously against Chicago, I don't think it'll be a huge deal, but then you get the back-to-back against Calgary.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. He's just he doesn't look like an NHL player to me. And I get that Bednar likes him, and he's kind of you know what you're getting. Yeah, you know what you're getting out of him, which is like he's going to run into things and he's going to try hard. And he's not, I don't know, he's not a good hockey player. I'm sorry.
So he's an AHL vet.
I think he should just be in the AHL personally. I would give Sedlak a chance over him. I would even give Bowers a chance over him. Bowers can skate. Bowers has polish to his game. Sedlak looked like he could skate a little bit, even if he got lost in his own zone a little bit. But man, the bleed thing is so weird to me. I have no idea how Bednar could prefer bleed over Bowers and Sedlak after what we've seen.
Even Hudon. I don't know why Hudon got such a short stick.
Yeah, that was weird. He got like one game.
That was that was the weirdest part of this postseason to me, that Charles Hudon got like 2 games, and one of them he was really good in, and then he just kind of got, it's like, all right, super weird. We have seen multiple times this preseason, Bednar has called out Bleed as being someone he has liked in games. So like we said, it does look like it'll be him. Now, you said Sedlak and Bowers. I personally want to see Mikhail Maltsev there. I feel like that's kind of why they got him in the Ryan Graves trade, to be like a 4C, but then they had Darren Helm. Then they re-signed him and Cogliano. I think Maltsev, he played like 2 games last year.
No, it was
and then
like
he got
20.
sent down, and then he got called.
Mm-hmm.
He got called up again, and then he played.
Like
I think he had a few stints back, and he
Didn't
looked good when
point.
he came back after. Yeah, no,
he looked okay.
But I mean, I personally would rather give that spot to him, especially because he's an actual center. I think Anton Bleed, played some at center. I doubt that's what he actually played in Boston.
Yeah, he plays more like a winger.
He was primarily a winger. So having an actual center there, I'm not entirely sure how Cogliano would do at center. And I understand, if you're going to have Cal out there, Bednar probably doesn't want too many young guys, because you already have Myers, you already have Cout. Probably doesn't want to put, especially Bowers. If he's going to put anybody there, I think it's Maltsev. But since Maltsev didn't play the last 2 games, I'm not sure. It would be more likely that Bowers got in. He wasn't actually cut, though.
I think he
Maltsev didn't get cut.
Oh, no, he hasn't been cut?
No, I'm like pretty confident he was still up with the team, but he just wasn't. He didn't play because I think there was some injury problem. Peter Baugh tweeted something about it. I can look, but what do you think about those two in that spot, especially particularly Maltsev? Like, what are your thoughts on him taking that spot?
Yeah, my thought on this is Anton Bleed's bad. He should not be in the NHL. He should be an Eagle, and anybody else would be fine. Maltsev would be fine to try at center. Bowers would be fine to try at center, and Sedlak would be fine. I don't know if he doesn't play much center, so you'd kind of have to make do with Cogliano or something like that. But I think you put LOC or Cogliano next to those two, and you just give them their 6 to 8 minutes and you survive. Because while I think those guys are NHL players, and what I'm saying is Cogliano, obviously, LOC, and Cout. I do think Cout's an NHL player, but I don't think that's Cout's role, is being a 4th line guy like that. Whenever he's gotten a chance.
That's why I kind of thought that he'd succeed better on the 3rd line.
Yeah, and they might do that. But I have no idea how that's going to go. And I would put him on the 3rd line, probably, him or Cogliano. But when we saw him on the 4th line last year, he was not very good at all, and he took penalties. So I'm a little worried about that if he starts on the 4th line. But I don't think it's going to matter too much in the end. I feel like we're just kind of nitpicking here. You're going to get Helm back. You're going to get Landeskog back. It's going to be fine. And honestly, worst case, you just call up Jason Megna, and he played, 20 games last year and was perfectly fine. So I don't think it's too big of a deal.
Extremely average. But yeah, I think Cal would succeed better in a 3rd line role, but I kind of doubt he gets that unless Comfer isn't ready to go. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't think it'll really matter. I think once Helm gets healthy, one of Helm or Landeskog, probably Helm first, I think he gets sent down before Bleed.
Oh, you do? Oh man,
All right.
That would suck.
Yeah. I don't want it to happen, but I think it does. Because
Yeah, probably. He's got to play well. Please, Martin Kaut, play well. Play well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the awards.
He's got to earn his spot, but yeah. I was gonna say. All right, so we're award predictions are never easy.
No,
but we're gonna give it our best crack. So we're gonna start off with the Calder. Now, my Calder pick is a little bit more unique, and I'm not even sure that it'll be something that can even be close to transpiring, because I'm not sure this guy's actually going to get like games. But I'll let you go first, because yours is a little more on the nose.
Yeah, mine's pretty like the obvious choice. I chose Beniers. Yeah. I think he's just got a lot of polish to his game. I think he's already a good NHL player, just from what we've seen last season in his few games and this year in the preseason. Like, he looks really good. He looks like he's going to be a good defender in his own zone. It looks like he's got good vision in the O zone. Doesn't look like he has the highest ceiling, but I feel like I feel like there's a good chance that he's in the 50 to 60 point range, and he becomes Seattle's 1C. Obviously a very low end 1C, but better than Yanni Gourde. So I think he is the obvious one. But I like your pick. So
yeah. So I picked Cole Perfetti. Now I think he has this kind of skill set, the skill set that it could shine. The only problem is Rick Bowness is his coach, and we know how he is with the young guys.
Right.
So I'm not entirely sure how that'll go. He's definitely got some good players to play with as well if he can make up the lineup. But it purely depends on whether or not he gets games. He's a really good player, and he can absolutely shine at the NHL level. It just depends on if he gets that ability to. I think Beniers is a better pick, but I think if I think there's a higher possibility with Perfetti, just because I feel like he has a little bit better talent to play with, to kind of get that Matt Barzal kind of, he gets a little bit more of the help with the situation he's in, rather than I think Beniers will be a better player, but I think Perfetti gets a better chance to shine, maybe. But
yeah, we'll see if he even plays. That thing, it all takes me back to
right.
Bowness and Gurionov. Like, Gurionov's got talent, and Bowness would just chuck him on the fourth line for 8 minutes a game, and then Gurionov plays bad.
Right.
Like, no wonder Rick Bowness. So I hope Perfetti makes the team, just for the sake of that pick. And he's in the top 9 at the very least, so he can play with some skill. Because I think he has a lot of talent.
The Jets have definitely enough skill in their top 9 to help him out, but like I said, we'll see. All right, so next up, do you want to go to the Gregory or the Adams?
Let's do the Jim Gregory.
Okay.
I feel like I like the Jack Adams better than the Jim Gregory award. I think this one's pretty.
I feel like
dunk.
Yeah. Let's see.
Brad Treliving.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
is it Treliving?
He turned. I don't know. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but I think he turned like what could have been such a disaster in Calgary into, okay, this team's pretty good.
Right.
Do I think they'll be amazing? No, but I think they're really good. And I think that defense is going to be really good. I love the Weegar edition. I don't know about Huberdeau for 8 years, maybe 2 or 3. Kadri, same thing. But at least for the next couple of years, they're going to be good. So I think he did a great job with the hand he was dealt.
If they win a round, he's getting it. I feel like that's pretty. Just considering, that was the talk of the offseason, is kind of this guy just pulled off a masterclass in how to
right
just I don't even know. Like, we've never really seen anything like that before. Like,
No.
Columbus had superstars leave. They didn't like reset or anything. It's just
Nope.
I don't know. It's just a weird situation that I don't know. But he did it, like I said, an amazing job. And as long as Calgary doesn't completely, fall apart, and I think as long as if they make the playoffs, I think it's pretty good. And if they win around, then I think it's a slam dunk that he gets it. But this award has always been given to one of the three guys whose team makes it in the Final Four. So it doesn't really matter if he does a good job. If he doesn't make it to a conference final, then all bets are kind of off. But personally, that's how I feel. And then we at the Adams. So the NHL released their poll for the Adams. It was quite interesting. Somehow Gerard Gallant is still getting votes. It's everybody knows it's a goaltending award.
We saw, or like you were a lottery team last year, and now all of a sudden you're in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. I've actually got
or
kind
a
of
first
a weird
coach,
one. Yeah. Like a rookie coach doing well. I've got a weird one. I've got Pete DeBoer. I think Dallas is going to bounce back. I think they're going to be really good. I think Ottinger is going to play really well. I think they're going to get third in the Central, maybe even second with around 100 points. Because I think that roster is so much better than they showed last year, and they got better with Marchment, and I don't think Klingberg is too big of a deal, too big of a loss on the back end when you have Heiskanen and you have guys to fill in back there.
Yeah, it just depends on whether or not Heiskanen takes a step.
Yeah, and I think DeBoer is going to unleash him because now he's not going to have to play.
He might.
I don't think he's going to have to defend so hard and hit everything he sees like he did in the bonus system. Like, I think he's going to have more freedom to jump up. I think he's going to have more freedom to, shoot, score goals. And I think that, I don't know. It's kind of a weird pick, but I think Dallas is going to be a lot better than they were last year. So that is my choice.
Yeah. I just don't know if they're going to be that much better. Like, I feel like they love improvement when you're picking the Jack Adams. And I think they're going to be, like I said, better than I picked, but I kind of have a hard time seeing them getting above third in the division or a wild card spot. They could get second, but I feel like the more likely scenario is one of those two. And like, they just kind of don't typically reward that. They kind of just, and in their defense, why would they? You're just doing the same thing and you're just doing it in a different way. I mean, I would be fine giving him the Jack Adams just so we don't have to watch Rick Bowness hockey 4 times a year anymore. But like,
yeah,
I don't know. So
full season of Ottinger too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like I said in the predictions, how does Ottinger do? That'll kind of. All right, so I have the homer pick. I went with Jared Bednar. Now, I think that cup, I had so much talk about him during the offseason. He was the first coach to win the ECHL, AHL, and NHL championship trophy. I feel like he's finally going to get his respect. I feel like he might not have the greatest year this year. The Avs might not. But I feel like this might be like what the Norris was with Drew Doughty, a lifetime achievement. Congratulations. We should have given this to you. You could really pick any of the last 3 years, but we're going to give it to you now to make up for that. I feel like that's my reasoning for it. Or he just goes off and they give it to him, or they just don't give it to him because they hate him for some reason. So
yeah, I'm good with that. Any of those can happen. That'd be cool. See Jared Bednar finally get the respect he deserves for turning this ship around.
Right. Yeah. Like, just like how is he not won one yet? I genuinely don't understand.
He
God,
should have won it in
it's
the
baffling.
2019-2020 season. I think that was
He
the year
should
he
have.
should have won it. Yeah.
That dude, the injuries on that damn team. Oh my god, dude,
It was crazy.
that was a
And they
season
were
of
second in
hockey.
the Central. And they were going to win that division, too. There were 12 games left. They were going to win that thing over St. Louis, and he was going to win the Jack
Oh
Adams.
yeah.
But COVID.
Who did they
So
even give it to that year?
I don't even remember. I couldn't tell you. It was not Jared Bednar. I do know that.
Oh, it was Bruce
But
Cassidy.
yeah. Yeah, the Bruins were pretty good that year, but
because yeah, they technically won the President's Trophy.
Yeah. So
I remember that because they won the President's Trophy, and they lost every game they played against the Red Wings that year.
Yeah, that's right. No, I remember that. And the Red Wings were worse than the 16-17 Avs. That was such a fun season.
Yeah. Everybody kind of forgets that they were that bad because it was just
they were so bad.
It was such a weird season, but yeah. Okay, so all right, now we're kind of on to the more interesting ones. So, which one do you want to hit next?
We can go to the Selke, one of the more low key awards.
Yeah, this one's always kind of a crapshoot.
I think there's like two dudes that they're gonna realistically pick. It's either Bergeron or it's Barkov. And I'm just gonna go with Barkov because Bergeron's old.
I went with Barkov too. Yeah, that's pretty much my reasoning. I'm like, Barkov hasn't won one yet, right?
I think he won one 2 years ago. I could be wrong about that though. But really, we all know this award should go to Val Nichushkin every year from now on, because
yeah. So here, this is where I wanted to take this. Is that we've seen in the past few years, Nichushkin has gained more minutes, and people have mentioned why he hasn't gotten the Selke is because he's putting up elite defensive numbers, but he's playing against certain second liners. Now this year, he might actually get consistent first line minutes. I think if he does, and he can keep up the production he had last year, I think it's a kind of a slam dunk pick. But he hasn't ever really got a bunch of votes either, so it's
I don't think he's gonna win it.
It's an interesting debate.
Yeah,
I
don't think he's gonna win it. I think he should. Yeah, I mean, he is, in my opinion, the best defensive forward in the league. At least last year he was. I mean,
oh yeah, no, he's been up there for a while.
Oh yeah, he shut down every matchup he had in the playoffs. He was so good in the regular season, even though he was kind of hurt here and there.
If they could have given out a Selke just for the playoffs, he would have ran it. He would have ran away with it.
Oh my god, yeah, he was so good in the playoffs. Sometimes I wish he wasn't as good as he was. If he can keep up playoff form, then yeah, because then we wouldn't have had to pay him 8 years by 6.1. Yeah,
it's fine. Then I felt comfortable getting his jersey. So
yeah, that's fair.
I think the other person. So Mikko Rantanen had a really good two-way season last year. Like, the more you pay attention to this guy playing defense, it seems like he realizes that he's tall, and so he's just like, I'll just get my stick in the way.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think if he, after last year, I mean, if he were to win the Selke, I think it'd have to be in a few years. I think he'd have to garner some more respect for his defensive game because, like I said, it went under the radar. It was good. He'd have to keep that up for about 2 or 3 more years. And obviously, with his production level, they clearly love that.
Yeah.
Alexander Barkov's not the greatest defensive player in the world, but since he's a good defensive player and he produces.
Right.
There you go.
I think something with Mikko is he started last year really good on both sides of the ice, except it cratered in the second half of the season. It went from 90th percentile on defense down into the 40s. just in one half of a season. So I don't know if he'll win a Selke. I would watch out for Austin Matthews though, because he was really good in his own zone last year, and he's Austin Matthews. He gets a lot of attention because he plays for the Leafs.
Yeah.
And
oh shit.
I think he was really good in his own zone last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's the same way this year. So I would watch out for him.
I don't think he's a bad shot. I can't tell if he's, I don't know. He's a confusing person in that conversation to me, but we can both agree that if Nichushkin doesn't win a Selke in his career, that the NHL has done something wrong.
Yeah.
He won't, probably. I would be genuinely shocked if he does, but
yeah. I don't know. They don't give it to wingers.
They don't, and they don't, like, it's supposed to be for the best of, like, it feels like it's supposed to be for the best defensive forward, but it's not. It's for who's the best point producer that plays good enough defense.
Yeah.
So
should we go to the Vezina?
That trophy's a whole different thing. Vezina, goalies are weird. I don't think neither of us even know that much about goalies, but I went with Ilya Sorokin. So Shesterkin won it the year before. Sorokin has been one of the better goalies in the league, especially last year. I think the Isles are actually going to be a much better team, so I think it's going to boost up his the win stat in the shutout column. So I think he goes away with it this year. That's my.
I love that pick, and you know why? Because that's who I picked too. So I
had a sneaking suspicion that you might have picked him, but yeah, he's a good goalie, man. I love watching Sorokin, unless he's.
And the Isles are going to be much better this year. That's what I'm banking on. If he's going to win it, they got to be a playoff team, and I think he's going to win it because I think Shesterkin, like you said, is going to fall off a little bit, and then I think UC Saros is another guy that could win it, but I don't.
Yeah, I've heard a lot
after just watching the Preds today.
He has to stay healthy.
Right. And after watching the Preds today, I'm like, dude, they're just not that good. The Sharks are really bad, but the Preds today, oh man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if I buy them anymore. Yeah, I know it's only one game, but they're like just the more I think about their forwards, the more I'm just like, I don't know.
The forwards are like kind of something that has been not a strong selling point for me, but yeah. All right. Yeah. So now we're getting to the more interesting stuff. The Norris. Who's going to win the Norris?
Cale Makar.
It's Cale Makar.
Cale Makar. Yeah.
Hey. I mean, I have a hard time really. A lot of people like Miro Heiskanen has been getting all of this offseason, and I won't be surprised if he gets nominated. I won't be too surprised if he wins it. I struggle to Makar doing what he did last season this year, but he's also Cale Makar, so he could put up 100 points and 40 goals, and no one would bat an eye. I feel like 40 goals might be a stretch, but if anybody could do it, it's him.
It's not a stretch. No, yeah, he's the best player I've ever seen play hockey in my entire life, and I think he's going to win the Norris again because no other defenseman can even sniff his jockstrap. And to the announcer who was announcing the Sharks game today, to the dude who was announcing the Sharks game today, like, you can shove that Roman Josi take right up your ass because it was Cale Makar's award last year, man. Like, let's be real here. Like,
and the way he's transformed into such a two-way defenseman, everybody kind of talked crap about his defense. His defense was always fine. Like, it was never bad. But now he's like an actual good defender. He's not like amazing, but he's
he
pretty
is.
good defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
fair enough. I mean, I you know more about the advanced statistics than I do, so but yeah, he could win this trophy 7 years in a row, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's a slam dunk. Sneaky pick on the Avs might be Devon Taves. You know, maybe if Makar gets hurt, that's the only thing that really is going to stop him. The only thing that stands in his way of winning a Norris is himself, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna have to rename that award, man. It's gonna have to be called the Cale Makar Award. Like, he's gonna win that thing so many times. If he stays healthy, obviously. But
right, yeah. So
all right,
we'll see.
Let's save the heart.
Well, that one's obviously pretty basic. Yeah, so
we'll save the heart. We'll go to the Art Ross.
Yeah, the Art Ross. So who do you have?
I just have McDavid. I think that's pretty straightforward.
You just have McDavid. Okay, so I have Kaprizov.
Okay. I'm not buying. I feel like Kaprizov and the Y. I'm just not buying them. And
yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's gotten better every year. I don't know, man. I don't think the Wild are going to be good. I think this is going to be kind of, I don't know, late 2010s Oilers, where Kaprizov is just scoring all the points and his team's just kind of like, you go, yeah. And he's just like, all right, you guys can help. And they're like, nope, no, we're good.
That's fair.
And
that's fair.
They're going to suck, and he's just going to score all the points. So also, they're going to be down all the time, and they're so good with an empty net. He's just going to be racking up points there too.
It's so weird. They're such lucky bastards, dude. They're so lucky. They're not going to get away with it. They can't do it again for 3 years in a row. They're not going to get that lucky.
They can't get away with this.
They're not gonna.
Yeah,
all right, who do you have for the Rocket,
dude? I swear to God. For the Rocket, I picked Draisaitl.
Okay, I have Matthews again. So
Matthews,
his shot it's just so nasty, man.
I just didn't want to be basic. I was like, maybe when Draisaitl actually has functioning body parts, maybe he'll be like really good again. And I mean, I think he was during the regular season, but I don't know.
I didn't have a problem with being basic.
I have faith that I think Matthews has a bit of not a huge injury history, but he's had kind of problems with like his shoulder and his wrist. Like I think if I'm remembering correctly, let me just make sure so I don't make an ass out of myself. Yeah. So and he didn't last year. So and that was kind of a big thing that helped him. So I think that's really why Draisaitl is going to win it, not because he's the better goal scorer, just because Matthews just has never really truly stayed super healthy for an 82 game season. So
I was choosing between him and Draisaitl, so I just couldn't pick against him. He's Austin Matthews. It'd be fun if Ovi got back in there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can never truly count on Ovi. An Avs pick, Mikko Rantanen, obviously that dude.
I think McKinnon would be a better pick. I think he's gonna have to do a little more heavy lifting this year. And as we've seen in years past, like Mikko just doesn't love to shoot. And McKinnon, I feel like, is kind of the same way sometimes, but this year he's going to have to do more.
I don't know.
Heavy lifting.
I think without Landeskog, Mac's going to he's going to like slap around and tell him shoot the damn puck, and Mikko's going to start shooting the puck, and then he's just going to keep shooting the puck.
Hopefully.
And he's just going to keep scoring goals because he's so good at scoring goddamn goals. It's incredible, dude. Like in the preseason, in the last game, he's not having a good game, and then a beautiful one-timer. Like, he roofed that thing. Like, even if Scott Wedgwood wasn't, or it was Kudo at that point, even if he wasn't, like, completely out of that's probably a goal still. He's just so good at scoring goals. and so is Gabe Landeskog, but he just his the only thing standing in Landeskog's way is really.
Yeah.
But Mikko Rantanen is going to win a Rocket at some point. I swear to God.
I think the dog wins it before he does. It could. I'm not counting it out. He's really good.
But I think McKinnon's more likely to win like the Art Ross or Hart, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. So then we got the Hart. This is the big one.
Who do you got?
I have Kaprizov.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. If he's gonna win the Art Ross, you better win your Hart too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you already kind of talked about him.
Who do you have?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he's going to be the only good player on that team.
Yeah, and they're going to make the playoffs because of it. Yeah, that checks out. That is reason enough to win a
and
Hart.
The league has kind of shown some love to him, ever since he got in there. Mm-hmm. So if it's close, I think they there's sorry, you have to play Minnesota.
You said something earlier. You were like, I don't know if he can do it again. But, dude, Cale Makar, he's gonna win the Hart. Like, if you're gonna put up 100 points as a defenseman, like, you better win the Hart. So, does he lead the league in scoring? No, I already think that's McDavid. I think that's probably maybe Kaprizov, maybe Matthews, maybe McKinnon has more points. But, like, the only way he can go is up. So, yeah, Cale Makar.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the Avs winning the Hart. It's going to be Makar's biggest problem with winning the Hart. So he's got Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen and Devon Toews on his team.
Yeah.
How much voters take that into consideration? I don't know. They really shouldn't, because Austin Matthews had Mitch Marner and William Nylander, and he had good players on his team too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right. And if Makar puts up ridiculous points as defenseman, I feel like it should be kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, well, we have to give this to him, but I don't have faith in the league when it comes to individual trophies for the Avs. But that doesn't really matter because they just win this thing.
They can just win the only trophy that really matters. I mean, he just won the Conn Smythe. He just won the Norris. Like, dude, he is going to go nuclear.
Stock is going to go nuclear.
I feel like he's just going to go nuclear because,
that's
even when I watch him,
cup hangover.
Yeah, when I watch him, I just am like, there's more there. Like, there just is. He's already the best player I've ever seen play hockey, but there's more there. Like, I think there's more.
The dude can go off for like it. I won't be surprised if he just keeps getting better. Like, I honestly expect it, but he's so good. Like we said, the only person standing in his way is Cale Makar. So, but yeah, and then basically the only one left we have is the President's Trophy. I think the Panthers are going to go back to back on it. Actually, no, scrap that. I think the Hurricanes.
I've got the Avs again.
I just think that team is so good. Okay.
The Canes?
I don't know. Right. I feel like they did. I think they realized they just don't care about the President's Trophy anymore. So I feel like they're just going to do what they did last year when they clinched their playoff spot and they're like, all right, we don't care anymore.
Yeah. The Canes are all right, healthy. But I think the Avs, the Avs are better than any team in the NHL. And the only reason why I think these models, all the models I've seen so far, are having them at like third or fourth in the league is because of the uncertainty with Newhook and the uncertainty in net. And I don't think there's much uncertainty because we've seen Frankie. Like, I know people like to dog on Frankie for never taking over the starting role. And whenever he gets the opportunity, he doesn't run with it. And I think that's BS. Because he had, last year, obviously coming off double hip surgery, he had a 906, but he went 6-0 in the playoffs. He I think that 906 was, brought down by 2 horrible games. The other games he had above a 920. Even if Georgiev doesn't work out, I think Frankie, you can easily pencil him in for like a 915-ish, somewhere in there. I do think he's that good. So
I think this is a really underrated tandem coming into this season.
Yeah.
I think really what people are underestimating with Georgiev isn't really him. It's more his potential under Parkala. I think Parkala is a really good goalie coach, and I think him under him, and it's like especially having a backup like Frankie will really help him out. But yeah, so all right, I think we had some picks. We had some. I think all of our picks are pretty valid. I wouldn't be surprised with any of them. Had a nice starburst there.
End of pod
starburst.
Delicious.
So yeah. Anyways, make sure you guys follow the podcast. Now you can watch it right away wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever. And then also, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. We're going to come at you with some more podcasts throughout the week. So we hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody.